And by the way, all sound is good sound here, so all baby noises are good noises. So, I was just saying, you guys, all baby noises are good noises. We like all of it. It's one of the things that I am especially grateful for is babies. I don't get to hold that many anymore, but I even like just being in the room with them and hearing them, even on the airplane. Happy. So today I was going to talk about choosing to have an attitude of gratitude. And I got some really interesting material from an article called "Materialism Makes You a Broke Jerk," says science. I really love that. I think it's funny, and also I don't know about you, but I tend to learn things by beating my head against a wall, or actually sometimes being a jerk, and then coming back into my right mind and knowing, oh yeah, so I sometimes like to look at the part that doesn't work so that I can appreciate the part that does work. So this article was by psychologist Tim Kasser. And how does materialism make you a broke jerk? It's not possessing things, it's not the things, but it's the prioritizing that does the damage, right? Just because you have things doesn't mean you're a jerk, right? Please, I am not saying that. But if you prioritize money, possessions, and image, that makes you a less than kind human being. Here are 3 things that happen according to Kasser. When you start to care more about stuff than relationships. 1, you're more likely to be a bad friend. We know from research that materialism tends to be associated with being more competitive, being more manipulative, and selfish. And then you're less empathetic. Materialism, number 2, sucks up your money and your mind space. Once you start wanting things, you want more things. And wanting things does take up space in your mind. It's a very different feeling, wanting something, than being grateful for something or welcoming something into your life. It also is associated with less pro-social behavior, more ecologically destructive behavior, and more spending problems with debt. And number 3, this might be the most important, you'll be distracted from what your real needs are. Because when we want something and outside of ourselves, we are distracted from our need for connection, to be our best self, to have fun, to experience, to grow. So things, and we all know this really, they are a poor substitute for what is really important to us. And I do notice, however, that I can go to a store around Christmas time and start wanting something or start wanting to buy presents for people. You know, it's funny. It's not bad, it's just part of us being human. How do we break out of materialism? Well, here's 3 suggestions, and you will recognize the spiritual principles in these suggestions. Spend time with other people. Easy as that. Just find someone to spend time with. And by the way, if you don't have anyone to spend time with, I am here in this building or next door in my house, and I have lots of projects that if people want to come, and I'm currently cleaning out every closet in the church. You don't even have to work. You could just talk to me while I work. So, you know, if you want to spend time with me, I'm available. You got to call me and make an appointment. You can't drop by because I may not be here, but I'm available. Now, you all know that you are also available and that you are here to be available for other people. We are happiest when we have a place in the world, when we love and are loved, when we make the most of our gifts. Number 2, this is really hitting the nail on the head. Appreciate what you've got. That's right, Ignacio. Gratitude and joy are emotions we can muster when we don't feel threatened, when our lizard brain is calm and our prefrontal cortex takes over. But it's a little harder when our ego is under siege. Relationships are more meaningful the more we open and extend ourselves. But our degree of openness is also our degree of vulnerability. So instead of closing off, we want to be open and appreciate what we have. We often talk about how the person who triggers us the most is our master teacher. And so much is learned when we can be grateful for our master teachers. We can be grateful for that. So appreciating what we've got is probably one of the most obvious unity secrets there are. Appreciating what there is. And I have a little handout of things to do I'm going to pass out for a take-home. But the simplest way is to stop whenever you're feeling a little unhappy. It comes up. Stuff comes up for me all day long. Whenever you're feeling less than whole, just look around the room. Maybe you can make a mental image, a mental list, that is, to say, think of 3 things you're grateful for. And if it doesn't pop into your head, watching that movie made me laugh about being grateful for the water. It took one summer of me working at a summer camp intense to be, so that I almost once a week when I take a shower or a bath, I'm like, I am so happy there's hot water. You spend time without hot water and you appreciate it. So you may have a mental list that goes on all the time. And as I've said before, our brains work even just looking for things to be grateful for. It changes our brain. It changes the chemicals and we start feeling better. But look around the room, like pretty much, hey, be grateful for the chair. It's easy to be grateful for babies. Be grateful for old people. Be grateful for the air. Be grateful for music. So, number 3, choose mindfulness. The way this guy puts it is this. So what do you do when you don't have as many worthless things anymore? Face your issues and chill out. I would put that a different way. I would say choose mindfulness, take a breath, take 5 minutes, take 1 minute. You can even meditate for 1 minute. There's a lot of help for meditation nowadays. I have a meditation app on my phone. There's something cool about it. You just time it, and it says, congratulations, you meditated 2 days in a row. Yay! Or 3 days, or whatever it is. It times you. There's music, whatever you want. I can fill anybody in on that. Taking a breath is really worth it. Now, gratefulness is actually totally transformative. I'm pretty sure all of you can think of something that you were grateful for that changed your life. And I remember the first time I decided to use it as a spiritual practice. In the 80s, I, along with a lot of other people, was attending workshops. It wasn't S, but it was a workshop called Loving Relationship Training. And I went on and did a bunch of those self-help workshops in the 80s. Some of us remember. They were all over. They were great. They were really helpful. The one I chose had a very spiritual bent to it. And I was doing the carry-on work. There was a small group, and I was meeting at the house of the trainer. The trainer was Peter Kane. He had a big, huge house in Washington. I'd just gotten divorced. I was really searching I had my son. I had moved in with my mom, I had my son. I think I was cleaning houses. I was feeling envy. And I remember going over to Peter's house and Meg's house. They had this big house. They seemed to be like so together and ascended, and they were leading these workshops, and I started to feel envy. And it was a very uncomfortable. I was like, why can't I have that? Why can't? And I will admit that I caught myself in that. I realized, I said, get a grip, Elastigirl. This is not going to work. And I recognized that I better start being grateful for what I did have, because otherwise, every time I went to visit my friend Peter and Meg, or take a workshop at their house, I would feel bad about what I didn't have. And I would feel a little bit angry and resentful about what they did have. I can still fall into, I think envy is probably the most opposite of gratitude you can get. You're not only do you not have something, but you're kind of a little bit ticked off that you don't have it and somebody else does. So I would say that might be the most opposite. But that was a huge step for me to almost, awaken in myself and realize I could choose that feeling or not, or I could choose that thought or not. Oh, that was probably one of the first times I was really conscious of choosing differently, of choosing to be grateful. And right away, I would say even that afternoon when I recognized that I was being envious, it made a change in how I felt. And I started being grateful for what I had. And I think pretty shortly after that I met Roland, so that was a good thing. He came into my life, and I'm totally grateful for that. That's like the moral of the story, right? But I think that why I wanted to share that story is that not to say, wow, I overcame envy that time. It was to say, it's like a testimony to that it works. And I know all of you sitting in here, I can see all your shining, beautiful faces. And you look pretty happy and grateful. And the other thing that I want to is just to remember that those things are still going to come up. Like I said, I think I felt a little envy. I can't even remember why the other day. Oh yeah, I remember. I was at an Airbnb in Florida, and there was a pool in front of me and a hot tub. And this church hasn't built me my pool yet, so I guess they're still working on the skyway from the church to the house. But and I noticed, it's like, wow, why can't, and immediately I snapped. I said, get a hold of yourself, Elastigirl. No. You do not want to go on that, not even for a thought. You don't even want to complete the sentence, because you're just going to be miserable and you're going to be a jerk. Like the bottom line is, I will turn myself into a jerk, a grumpy whatever jerk. And instead, I could be grateful. So gratitude is transformative. Now, and it's not, don't just take my word for it. Experiment. I'm going to ask, here's 3 little reminders. I'm going to ask my awesome worship assistant to pass these around. Everybody get one. And if you go to the website or Facebook, I will post these, and I will post a few more. So just like homework and what you can do about it. And don't just take my word for it. There's some Bible backup. Let me read just a little bit from Samuel. May the Lord now show you kindness and faithfulness, and I too will show you the same favor because you have done this. There is no greater love than to lay down one's life for one's friends. That's John 15. And may the Lord reward you for your kindness. Ruth, chapter 1. So today, right now, make a mental list. Think of 3 things you're grateful for. Okay. And recognize that just by doing that, you actually physically changed your brain a little bit, and you contributed to the world in a big way. Because everybody here is a beacon of who they are. You know, we are sending out the light of God, or the light of Spirit, the light, just by sitting here, just by even sitting in your car at the stop sign. Okay? You are sending out your vibration of who you are. And we transform the world. So it's not just about a selfish, recognizing what you're grateful for. We are actually contributing. Because as we become happier, clearer beings of light, then we automatically, when we show up, there's a different quality. If I showed up to Peter and Meg's house being a little crabby and feeling resentful because they had more stuff than I did and they had it all together, you can imagine that I would not be the most pleasant person in the room. If I showed up to Peter and Meg's house feeling grateful for that cool Volkswagen van I had at the time, that I was able to live with my mom, she didn't kick me out, and that I had an awesome son, and I got to clean houses and get paid, and therefore I was not a sponge, like any number of things that I could be grateful for, I was able to be, 1, with somebody, 2, contributing by my actual vibration, and 3, appreciative, and taking my role in the world. So this is to say that our work is important. This is to say that your gratitude will grow and can help somebody else transform. Dennis said there were a lot of kids today. There are kids in the room, there's kids downstairs, and the kids are having a little carrying on with appreciating nature. They're contributing by picking up some litter around the area. That was their service project for the month. And I think they also enjoy being outside. And they get to pick up stuff. They get to wear rubber gloves so they're safe. I'm pretty sure that's fun too, and have bags and all that. And they get that need met for contributing, right? That we all want. And my point about mentioning the kids was, notice a kid today. Maybe you don't usually notice a kid, or maybe you always notice kids, but notice a kid today. Grab one. Don't actually grab one, but like approach one with friendliness and say hi, and figure out what you're grateful for. You don't even have to say it, but just say hi and feel like you're grateful for that, for their presence. And also, while you're doing that, feel grateful for your presence. Somebody said happy birthday to me. You guys sang me happy birthday, and somebody said they were happy I was born. That is a really awesome feeling. And I want everyone here, I just want that, everyone here to feel that they are grateful that they were born, and that we are grateful they were born, okay? I can unequivocally say, I am grateful that everybody here was born, that everybody here is in the room, and everybody here is contributing their presence of God light to the universe. So, happy birthday, everybody. We're going to take 2 offerings in the month of June. We are really grateful for everything we have. We're grateful that Des Moines Area Religious Council runs a food bank. And this, I got a letter from them that says that every month, actually it's been every year, but apparently in 2018 it's even more dramatic. Every month, the people who need the food bank, the numbers are going up, and their contributions have remained the same. So how we're going to respond is we're going to do one offering for Unity, and then the ushers are going to do it again with another basket and do an offering for DMARC. And you might not be prepared this Sunday, but for every Sunday, we're going to have 2 offerings in June. So and Des Moines is one of the good places for people aren't starving so much, but still people are hungry. The other thing we do about hunger is we have that little pantry outside. You can always bring food to put in that little pantry, and the nice thing about that is people just come and get it. And there's no, just a simple thing to help hunger in the neighborhood. So 2 offerings, one for Unity Center of Des Moines, and when we make the offering for Unity and for the DMARC, let's do it with gratitude. Gratitude that we have $1 to give, gratitude for that Unity Des Moines is here, where we have this awesome center, people in it, and gratitude for DMARC, that there is an organization that does this work for us. That makes me feel so happy. And they do such a good job that all we have to do is contribute a little bit of money and people get fed in a wonderful, meaningful way. So, all right, first, we're going to have special music. We'll do the 2 offerings and then we'll bless all of it. Okay, thanks. Yeah.